In the dead of night, chaos erupted in the heart of London. And the target wasn't just any random home, or an ordinary citizen. It was the sitting Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Sir Keir Starmer. 3 separate fires, 2 homes, 1 car, each linked directly to Starmer himself. This is no mere coincidence. This is a message, a final warning. And it has sent shockwaves through Downing Street, the security services, and the entire political establishment. But the bigger question is, how did this happen right under the noses of Britain's most elite security forces? What does it say about our national leadership when a supposed law and order Prime Minister is left exposed, vulnerable, and rattled? Let's start with the facts, as they are already damning enough. Early on Monday morning, just after 1 a.m., emergency crews were dispatched to Keir Starmer's former home in Kentish Town. That house, now reportedly occupied by his sister-in-law, was set ablaze using an accelerant. Let that sink in. Firebombed the Prime Minister's family home. And this wasn't an isolated act of madness. No. Just a day earlier, another property linked to Starmer, a former residence in Islington, had its front door set on fire, again in the early hours, again under suspicious circumstances. And if that wasn't enough, only days before, a car linked to Starmer's family, now owned by a neighbor, was seen bursting into flames in the dead of night. This is no random event. This is orchestrated. This is targeted. This is a warning shot from the shadows. And the most terrifying part, counter-terrorism police, Britain's so-called best, were caught completely off guard. Despite the clear links between the attacks and the high-profile nature of the target, the Met Police had to scramble after the fact. No advanced warning, no surveillance, nothing. By the time they responded, the damage had already been done. The suspect, a 21-year-old man from Sidcup, has been arrested on suspicion of arson with intent to endanger life. But who is he really working with? Is he a lone actor or part of a larger, more organized gang? Some are already speculating about extremist cells, politically motivated networks, and gangs emboldened by a nation in decline. Let's be clear, this is more than just a criminal case. It is a political earthquake, an attack on the very doorstep of the most powerful man in Britain. And how did Starmer respond? With silence and deflection. His spokesperson offered a brief thank you to the emergency services, but refused to clarify who was in the house at the time. No emotion, no details, just a scripted line and a veil of secrecy. Why? What is he hiding? We now know that the Kentish Town townhouse is rented to his sister-in-law at a peppercorn rent, quietly hidden from the MP's financial register. Is this why he's avoiding questions? Is this why Downing Street is scrambling to control the narrative? Meanwhile, the public is left in the dark. Neighbors in both Kentish Town and Islington were never alerted. Some were awakened by explosions, others by the police knocking in the middle of the night. Not a single alert from authorities. Not a single briefing on the risk. And now, residents are terrified. Elderly locals speak of flames lighting up the street. Others report forensics teams combing through their gardens. And everyone is asking the same question: how could this happen? But perhaps the better question is, how could this not happen under a government that is clearly out of touch, underprepared, and under siege by the very forces they pretend don't exist? The truth is unavoidable. The attackers knew exactly what they were doing. They struck under cover of darkness, used accelerants, timed their attacks days apart, and targeted properties tied directly to the Prime Minister. This is not madness, this is intent. It's a final warning, a message written in fire. If Keir Starmer thought being Prime Minister meant immunity, this was his brutal wake-up call. The political class is scrambling. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper says she's been briefed but offers nothing of substance, just empty platitudes. Keir Starmer's political rival, Kemi Badenoch, called it shocking and an attack on democracy. Yet still, no one is asking the tough questions. Where were the police patrols? Why was there no protection around a known target's home? Why was Starmer's family left exposed to this attack? And where is MI5 in all of this? Are we to believe that Britain's most powerful surveillance state had no idea something like this was coming? Even more chilling is what came before. Last year, pro-Palestinian activists staged a protest outside Starmer's home. Red handprints, angry banners, and arrests followed. That alone should have triggered a security overhaul. It didn't. The Prime Minister has been scrambling to maintain composure. He chaired a cabinet meeting the following day, pretending that all was normal. But behind the scenes, panic is brewing, and the anger is palpable, for this was not just an attack on a house. It was an assault on authority, on the very illusion of control that Starmer's government has fought so hard to maintain. And the gangs behind this have sent a message loud and clear: we can reach you anytime, anywhere. Whether this is politically motivated, a revenge campaign, or the work of underground networks pushing the UK to the brink, one thing is clear: they are just getting started. The fires may be out, but the smoke still hangs heavy over Westminster. Keir Starmer is now on the back foot. Counter-terrorism police are struggling to catch up, and the public is now confronted with a terrifying reality. If the Prime Minister isn't safe, who is? And as Downing Street burns, both literally and metaphorically, Britain is left asking the unspoken question: is this the beginning of something far worse? Because if fire is the message, then what follows could shake the very foundations of this country to its core. In other news, Starmer is facing the political battle of his life. But this time, it's not from the Tories or Reform UK, it's coming from within his own party. A mutiny is brewing in the Labour cabinet, as top figures now turn on the men they once cheered. The reason? His jaw-dropping U-turn on immigration. Yes, the very men who built his career defending open borders, who scoffed at anyone daring to raise concerns, has now pulled off the most remarkable political flip-flop. And now, his own party can smell the weakness. The knives are out. Let's not sugarcoat this is a political betrayal of monumental proportions. Keir Starmer, who once condemned conservative immigration policies as racist and pushed for more immigration, is now talking about cutting legal migration, slashing care worker visas, and even requiring dependents to speak English. Suddenly, after years of deceiving the public, he wants to appear tough. What changed, Keir? Just a few years ago, Starmer argued that immigration laws had a racist undercurrent. He called for free movement within the EU, and demanded voting rights for EU nationals. That's not border control, that's ideological extremism dressed up as compassion. This is the same man who signed a letter to block the deportation of Jamaican criminals, some convicted of rape and violent assault. And now, after years of lecturing the British public, he wants us to believe he's had a change of heart. He's not fooling anyone. And guess what? His own party knows it. You can hear the whispers behind the scenes growing louder by the day. Senior Labour figures such as Angela Rayner, David Lammy, and Yvette Cooper have spent years pushing the opposite message. These are the people who campaigned for more migration. Cooper wanted to welcome more asylum seekers. Rayner defended foreign NHS workers and attacked any pushback as xenophobia. Lammy praised mass immigration as a net benefit to the economy. Now they're supposed to back Starmer as he parrots Nigel Farage's talking points. Please. Starmer isn't just flip-flopping, he's torching his own political identity. And that's why Labour insiders are furious. Behind closed doors, talk of a full-blown revolt is growing. One Labour MP even compared Starmer's new rhetoric to that of Enoch Powell, and that came from within his own side. Let that sink in. The Labour leader is now being compared by his own MPs to the far right for mimicking the very policies he once condemned. It's not just ideological whiplash, it's political suicide. But here's the kicker, Starmer isn't doing this out of principle. He's doing it out of panic. After Reform UK trounced both the Tories and Labour in local elections, Starmer's team scrambled into damage control mode. The result was a speech so desperate and transparently fake that even his own MPs cringed. He was pressed 3 times to commit to cutting immigration below 500,000 a year. He refused to answer. Why? Because he doesn't believe in this policy. He's just copying Reform UK, hoping to stop voters from jumping ship. But the British public can spot a fraud a mile away. This is a man who thinks we're stupid. That he can spend 20 years defending mass immigration, then flip in an instant, and no one will notice. That he can betray every value he claimed to hold dear, and expect applause. That he can lecture us one day, and pander to Reform voters the next. It's not just insulting, it's cowardly. And the Labour cabinet knows it. The mutiny is real. The cracks are widening. Senior figures are quietly distancing themselves. They are not backing him publicly. They are not defending the policy. And some, like Lammy, Cooper and Phillips, are facing the same question Starmer is. Do you still believe in the values you've spent your whole career championing, or have you sold out? 2. The media won't say it outright, but we will. The Labour cabinet is on the verge of turning on their leader. This is the beginning of the end. And it gets worse. Just as Starmer was making his big speech, breaking news hit, 600 illegal migrants arrived in the UK that day alone. So while Starmer talks tough, the boats are still coming. The borders remain open. And guess what? This new policy won't even dent the numbers. Yvette Cooper herself admitted it will only reduce immigration by 50,000, while over 1 million migrants arrive annually. It's window dressing, a PR stunt, and it won't fool Reform voters or anyone else.